Right next to this mountain full of deliciousness, there's a restaurant, Sannamul 밥식당. And the chef there, she's agreed to come up with me and help me pick and identify all the delicious namu that's available here. And after that, we'll cook. This right here is known as a sanmaner. That literally translates to mountain garlic, though that's not really the case. And originally in Korea, you can only find it at Arirang, but 15 years ago, it was brought onto the mainland, and you're able to cultivate it here. Now, if you look carefully, I'm actually only picking one leaf out of each two, and I'm definitely making sure that I'm not harming the scape. So this is what the Dureup looks like right before it gets picked. It's part of the Ip family, and it's only until recently that you're able to get these in Seoul. Before, you had to go out into the forest and the mountains to forage it. Now they're able to grow them in farms, but before you had to know what they look like and be able to track them down and find them yourself and sniff them off the bud. So what we have in front of us today is a perfect vegetarian meal. It evokes so many different flavors, especially when it's picked right in the backyard back there. The mountains over here, we have all this growing right over there. But enough talking, I'm gonna eat. So that's Sannamul. It's been preserved in a little bit of soy sauce and some vinegar. And it's got this great salty sweetness to it. But more than that, the leaves itself, they've got a fantastic texture. The thing I love about Chwinamul is that it's got this freshness to it. It's got a crunch, and that it's got a kind of light grassy flavor to it. So you almost always see it raw. You never see it blanched or sauteed like you do some other type of namu. So after a hike and a wonderful meal, there's really nothing better than a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, but in this case, it's a cup of magnolia tea, so I'm gonna try some. So now that we've tasted some traditional namu, the chef here is going to show me today some more fun, modern takes on Dureup. Now, we have our Dureup here. First we need to season. So only about 30 seconds right there in the water. Take your bacon, lie it down flat, roll, 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 and there we go. All right, so here you have it. This is Dureup that's been wrapped in bacon. For our next recipe, we're gonna have a little bit of tofu that's been wrapped in some Chwinamul right into our water. So after this, we have to slice the tofu. So let's take our chi out of the blanching water. Now, when you mucha something, especially when it comes to something like greens or vegetables like this, you're just tossing it in a really sort of flavorful sauce that really packs a punch. There you have it. It's tofu and a little bit of Chwinamul, a little bit of minani on top of that, just a little bit of beef. Just makes for a great appetizer, or you can make several of these and have it as a main course. So there you have it, 2 recipes using spring namu. You have Dureup in one, you have Chwinamul in the other, and now I think it's time for a little taste. You know, right now here in Korea, the weather's starting to go from merely warm to sweltering. And they say that when the heat goes up, appetites go down. And at the same time, noodle dishes, noodles, they're those dishes that you eat when you don't know what you quite want to eat, when you don't really have an appetite. So why not the best of both worlds? Something to beat the heat and noodles. Some cool, refreshing noodle dishes for the summer. And that's what we're going to explore today with our bellies.
So what we're about to do right now is make one of Korea's it's one of the most Korean cold summer noodle dishes, and that's kongguksu. And kong means bean, and bean in this case refers to soybeans. And now the noodles aren't made from beans, but we're actually going to make the broth out of ground beans. It's a soy milk, but it's more than that. It's more of a soy cream. We start by getting these beans. They've been soaked and they've been boiled, and now we're about to grind them. Kongguksu. A lot of times you add salt and water to season it to your taste and to the thickness you want. Here we go. It's creamy is really what it is at the end of the day. It's creamy, it's sweet. This is one of the things I end up craving the most whenever I leave Korea, because you really can't find this outside of Korea. Alright, so I love kongguksu, but I'll be the first to admit that might not be everyone's thing. This next one, chogaeguksu, it's got nearly universal appeal. Curious? Let's check it out. It's a chicken stock-based noodle dish, and it's got vinegar and mustard. Chol refers to vinegar, K refers to mustard. Like I said, that vinegar and mustard, those are nearly universal flavors. You find them in so many different cuisines, but the addition of that white kimchi, the baekgimchi, plus the sesame and the cucumber makes it a distinctly Korean dish at the same time. It's good. And finally, we've come to what's probably the most recognizable Korean summer dish, which is naengmyeon. It literally means cold noodles, so that gives you an idea of how refreshing this dish is. And you'll get people who say, oh, it's not really a summer dish, it's a winter dish, but you know what? It's so hard to resist in the summer heat that has become the unofficial dish of the summer. And here, they specialize in Pyongyang-style naengmyeon. So this is the naengmyeon dough we just made, and so it's a hot water dough made primarily out of buckwheat and other starches, so it's low in gluten, it's a little crumbly, and it's really tricky to work with, so it needs an expert hand. And here we have the extruder and the boiler for the noodles, so alright, so we just put the dough in right here. Go. Here we go. A combination of dongchimi, which literally translates to dong means winter, and chimi, it's an old Korean word for kimchi, so it's a type of slightly salted fermented radish broth mixed with a beef broth. Normally, naengmyeon is a winter dish because, I mean, come on, we didn't have refrigeration until pretty recently, so you couldn't get cold broth unless if it was wintertime. This guy is bibimbap, otherwise known as ham흥naengmyeon, and it comes from the city of Hamhung, and it's a little bit different. For one, you can see that it doesn't have the broth. It comes in a really spicy gochujang, or Korean pepper paste sauce, and oftentimes you'll just add a little bit of the mulnaengmyeon broth in here just to loosen it up a little bit. And when eating bibimbap, always make sure you have one of these handy. You know, I'm pretty sure there have been countless relationships, families, friendships just torn apart by the battle of the two naengmyeon. You know, do you like yours hot and spicy, or do you like yours cool and refreshing? I can never really decide, so I gotta say right now, very happy. So today we're out in Dureup. It's in South Chuncheon province, and it's not the closest place to the city, to Seoul. It's about 2.5 hours depending on traffic. But man, is it worth it. For one, this place is steeped in history. 1400 years ago, it was the capital of the Baekje dynasty. And two, it's gorgeous. I mean, just take a look around. And three, we're here at this Hongjuk farming village to see what delicious things this season has in store for us. So when you trim a watermelon off the vine, you want to leave it so that it forms a little T shape, just like so. Take off any of the dead leaves, and it should make a duller sound when you thump it or when you flick it, rather than a more harsher metallic tinging sound. All right, so unlike the watermelons we were just picking earlier, it is super simple to tell when a tomato is ripe, when it looks like this. And of course, there are different varieties of tomatoes, and they have different indicators of ripeness. But when it comes to cherry tomatoes, they should be red, ripe, and juicy. The chef here at Hongjuk Farming Village, she's going to show me 3 dishes that she's developed, each using a different part of the watermelon. This is what we're going to turn into jam, and this juice right here, this is going to form the basis for our kalguksu. And you start off with a boiling watermelon stock. So now comes the point where we put the kal in kalguksu, meaning that kal literally means knife in Korean. So we're going to hand cut these noodles. There's something about homemade noodles, no matter where you're from. It's comforting. It's the original soul food, and this broth. So once you get that tough, fibrous green layer from the outside off, you can start preparing it to be used in the sweet and sour pork. So the sauce itself, when that watermelon juice is cooked down, it almost has like a cucumber flavor to it. And the watermelon rind, when it's fried, it almost has like a zucchini squash flavor. But when you put them back together, they taste like watermelon again. It's kind of nuts. So we're about to make the watermelon jam. So not only do you need to divide out your sugar to 3 different portions, so if you have 100 grams of sugar, then you divide it out to 33, 33, 33. It tastes nothing like watermelon, and that's almost a good thing. All right, I've had a fantastic day at the farm here so far, and I want to pay them back, so I'm gonna make a dish of my own. It's super simple. It's just gonna be a little fried chicken with a nice summer salad. All right, now we're gonna start the pickling solution for our watermelon rind and our green tomatoes. Pour it right over. We'll make our dressing for the salad. Have some honey in there. Nice and easy. Add a little bit of salt. You want to be right at about 170 degrees. All right. Out our chicken thusly. Whisk in this dressing and onto our salad. There we go. So I've invited the chef over here to taste my take on the summer salad with a little bit of fried chicken using all the ingredients that were grown right here. It is officially autumn in Korea, and that means the leaves have turned this beautiful color. The air, it's crisp and it's cool, and there's no better way to celebrate all this autumnness around us, and there's no place to enjoy autumn in the fall than up a mountain. What's a hike without a little bit of a picnic? Now, we have cucumbers will actually keep you hydrated better than water can. And it's because it's full of not just water, but all the other minerals that are required to keep you hydrated. So it's, think of it as nature's sports drink. And then chocolate, come on, you gotta have something sweet. But in all seriousness though, having that blood sugar drop is no fun. So keep that blood sugar up. Totorimuk, which is a type of acorn jelly. We consider it part of the hiking experience. It's indispensable. What you do, you go out to the mountains, and then afterwards, or maybe even on the mountain, you stop and get some totorimuk. Now, like I said before, they make all of their totorimuk here. They grind all the acorns themselves, which is incredibly laborious, but you can taste it in its final product. Now, here we have totorimuk muchim, which is almost more like a salad, especially with all the different greens in there. You have a little bit of chicory, you have what's known as sukkat. It's a really common Korean herb. It's got a great sort of fresh bite to it. It's fantastic. And then here we have totorimuk chebap. I'm literally drooling as I'm speaking right now, so I'm just gonna start eating. Oh man, oh this looks good. Especially when you get the flavors of the kimchi and the sesame in there. Forget about it. After a day of hiking, nothing else really hits the spot quite like this. So say you're out in the mountains and you want something that's really healthy but at the same time rib sticking and satisfying, well, I found just the place. Let's go. So this bubbling cauldron of stew in front of me right now, this is what's known as ori baeksuk. Now, baeksuk is a type of stew or soup usually involving some sort of poultry, chicken, or in this case, duck. And it's also, it includes 7 different types of traditional types of Korean medicine. What's most important is just how it smells. It smells incredible, especially with those mushrooms and the duck in there. It smells like fall. Let's taste this dish right now. Let's get some of this rice. Yeah. Just take a look at this guy. This has that. It's warming, yet you eat it and you can tell that it's doing something to you and it's doing something that's good. This is the perfect dish for a crisp autumn evening. And every meal in Korea has to end with 식사. And when you're hiking, 식사, that means 삼채 bibimbap. Put some rice right in there, mix it all up, and put it in our bellies. The best part about bibimbap is how every bite is just a little bit different. You get a little bit of this, and you get a little bit of that. I'm happy.
It's a gorgeous winter's morning here in Yangpyeong, and we're in this village, and it's beautiful. I mean, there's mountains, a clear sky, and there's just a little bit of snow on the ground. So it's gonna be a great day. Let's go exploring. All right, so we're in this greenhouse, and there's a huge buzz going on right now. The entire village is gathered in order to get this season's kimchi all ready. Now, I'm gonna go get my hands dirty. Let's do this.
All right, so this is the most important part of the kimchi making process, and it's tough work. The last step is patiently waiting.
You know, on a cold winter's day, it reminds me of two things: making kimchi and roasted sweet potatoes.
So this town's famous for two things. It's herbal and flower teas, and it's hospitality. And I just got invited here to try a little bit of both.
So we're at Youngman Temple right now, and this place has been around since the Shilla dynasty. It's been around forever. It's steeped with history. In fact, there's a ginkgo tree right behind me that's been around for 1,100 years. You know, one thing that Youngman Temple offers is it's a temple stay, and that allows you to come here to the temple, stay for a while, get away from the city, and re-arrive at that inner peace. So we're at the Dr. Park Gallery, and it's a contemporary art gallery, but what makes this place really special is that it's along the banks of the Namhan River. So it juxtaposes this really modern, contemporary look against the beauty of nature outside. Let's go take a look. You know, probably one of the most popular draws to this gallery is actually their cafe. I'm on their riverside terrace at the moment, and it's kind of cold, but it's really nice. I don't really mind. Look at that view.